Yeah, this is a quick. This is a short one that will do. So this was another one of your suggestions. Is how does the UK police equipment compare to the US police equipment? Which this could be very interesting difference because I know there are a couple of right off the bat. Like this picture alone is that the police use these cell phones as radios, I believe. Um, as opposed to the normal two-way I think it's UHF band radios. That's like one. So this could be very interesting. Let's check this out.
Okay, so from top to bottom we have our PR, our radio, it's used communicating with each other and to control. We've got a body-worn video that's activated on most jobs. It's got a 30-second buffer, so that when we do activate it, it pre-records 30 seconds, so it gives us some sort of time. So
Looks like Motorola.
In time,
it looks like it's Motorola.
Quite useful. I'm carrying a taser, which is about 400 officers currently in Kent.
Yep.
So that's the taser itself. It's an X2.
Yeah, that's the X2.
Two shots.
I think it's the X2.
That's recently come in.
Yeah, that's and chat. So the X2 here. So this is what replaced the old school tasers. You may remember, and this is true in the United States too. The old school tasers were like the stun guns. The stun guns and the old school tasers are not a thing anymore for very is a little low. Okay, I will up the volume a little bit. The old school tasers, the stun guns, are not used anymore for one very specific reason. They operate on pain compliance, and not a few amount of people, especially those that are on some kind of stimulant narcotic, can ignore it. Whereas whereas the new ones work off of involuntary muscular contraction. So the tasers of modern day work, the way they function. If you're not aware, the cartridges are loaded with a propellant and two probes connected to a wire that is seated in the backside of the cartridge. When the taser is activated, the electrical charge goes through the housing, ignites the propellant, which shoots out the barbs. The barbs make contact with the target, and then the electrical charge travels through the wiring into the barbs and into the person. Now, its purpose is not to inflict pain, although there is some pain. What it does is when the taser is activated, every single muscle in your body contracts simultaneously and stays that way as long as the taser is engaged. The moment the taser stops, you're fine. Like instantaneously. And that's the whole point of the taser, is the minute it turns off, you are fine. And it works 100 times better than the old pain compliance one, because even if you have a junkie who is high on crystal meth or something like that and is feeling no pain, this is not something that they can fight against because it's muscular contractions. Now, there is a small subset of the population that a taser will not affect. It's not half the time, Taurus. Tasers, I think, have it's either a 1% or 5%, although that number may have changed last time I heard about it. It's either 1 or 5% of the population will not be affected by a taser. But that's 1 or 5% out of the entirety of the population, which is not a lot. The vast majority, you hit them with a taser, they're locking up and they're going down. Plus, you can remove the cartridge from the taser and use it in a traditional, like, stun gun style. You can actually press this against the person and use it in a traditional stun gun. So if you use the barbs and you miss, this you can still be used. This doesn't suddenly just become useless. So
it's got two shots capability. That's recently come in over the past.
Yeah, bulky clothing does come into account.
Pava, which is a pepper spray, which all officers carry. The ASP button, rigid handcuffs, and then these are fast straps. So if someone's being particularly unmanageable, these Velcro straps can be placed around their legs just to make them more manageable.
like my colleague, I've got most of the kit, albeit just apart from the taser.
So the most noticeable thing, obviously, he's going to have is his firearm, his sidearm. These are a Glock 9mm semi-automatic handgun. In addition to that, he'll have his impact weapon, his baton, latex gloves, combat tourniquet to be able to use on civilians or fellow officers or himself for that matter. He carries a Leatherman multi-tool, handcuffs, spare magazines for his...
Jesus, like, look at how much shit he has. He's got a Leatherman tool, he's got 3 magazines. The most I'm used to seeing on a police officer is 2 magazines. This guy's got 3. He's got the pepper spray in a thigh holster. The taser? Interesting. Maybe he could be. I doubt it. One thing I'm noticing, the taser's on backwards. Most officers that I've seen carrying a taser, this would be reversed. This would be carried in reverse with the pommel sticking out this way, and the taser would be cross-drawn, because you're usually not drawing the taser with your offhand. Now, again, that could have changed from when I've seen police officers wearing it. Well, no, if he was left-handed, his firearm would not be on his right side. Yes, it's on his left side and he's right-handed, which means this should be holstered reversed with the handle facing this way, not facing back.
Magazines for his sidearm, his taser, his radio, and an individual first aid kit, which is, again, another gunshot wound and severe bleeding prevention
Jesus.
kit.
Sergeant, how heavy is the kit you're carrying, and does it sometimes get a little cumbersome?
It's about 30 pounds total between everything I carry. It does get cumbersome when you first put it on.
Maybe
I have to get used to these extra pouches here, but after a while, your body adapts to the extra bulk, and you don't feel it after a while.
Now, you're a fit bloke. You obviously work out, but I can't help but notice there's a bulge on your chest as well. Unless that's muscle, that's something. What have you got there?
I have a secondary firearm here.
So overall, our kit weighs around 7 kilograms. I'm wearing the stab vest and the kit belt. There's also an optional load vest as well, which some people prefer to wear. That obviously distributes the kit we have more on the body, whereas my kit is mainly distributed on the belt itself.
I was told by a guy going security that you do in fact have non-lethal on you, on your offhand. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's carried on the offhand side, absolutely. But I was talking about the way it was positioned, where it was basically he has to draw it with his left hand versus it being flipped around, so you would be cross-drawing it with your dominant hand. That's what I was referring to.
Depends on personal preference on whether that's on what you wear, but that's obviously up to the individual.
Yeah, reverse dryer, yes.
Could you imagine going on patrol either without your firearm or your taser?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
God, no.
The job we do is extremely dangerous and unpredictable. To go out there unarmed is insane to me.
In the UK, officers don't have anything like that. The best they have is a pepper spray. Would you be prepared to police the streets of London like that? What would you say to those guys and women who do it in London?
I give them
in the whole of England, actually, sorry.
I give them a lot of credit for doing what they do without the weapons and tools that we have here. I don't think I'd be...
Okay, now we are getting into a scenario where it's apples to oranges. Doing police work in the UK is a hell of a lot different than doing police work in Yonkers. That is 2 very different things, because don't forget, unlike in the UK, yeah, exactly. The UK does not classify weapons as a kind of quasi-religion like the US does. I mean, let's face it, in the US, firearms are its own religion. New York, Leo. Yonkers and New York. It's like, I'm not sure if it classifies it as a suburb, but it is a suburb of New York City. That's where it is. So yeah, I mean, this guy's basically a New York cop. I know Dressel, but you know, I'm talking about from the social perspective. Wolfie, I too watch Roanoke. But it's a totally different comparison of being a police officer in Yonkers and being a police officer in London. Because yeah, the firearms restrictions are much heavier in the UK than they are in all of the United States. Even in cities like Chicago, where once upon a time supposedly had very strict gun laws, they were still getting them because they could just go outside the city. So it is very much an apples to oranges kind of comparison to make this. Say like, oh, how would you feel about patrolling the streets of London without your firearm? It's like, well, is it? I thought they were actually doing away with it here. I thought I'd read something that they were going to be doing away with the banning of firearms in Chicago, but it's still in play. The firearm ban in Chicago is still in play. Okay, so it didn't happen. Okay, but you can't compare the two. Of course, if you ask a cop out of Yonkers, how would you feel about patrolling the streets of London without your firearm? He's gonna say fuck no, because this is a foreign nation. He's never done police work in London. He has no idea how it's going to go. Yeah, Wolfie, I know. There's. You are correct. It's Chicago is one of the worst cities for firearm related crime in the whole country. No, I don't, Falcon. I don't. Wait. Okay, I think I read a blurb about that. But I didn't actually read the story. Exactly, Atanashi. Yeah, was it last month? Was that like early September, Falcon? I think it was. Yeah, Taurus, that's true. Now, granted, the UK does have more than just pepper spray. Again, he's being a little disingenuous, saying, "Oh, if your only tool was pepper spray for London, they've got pepper spray, they've got aspeton, they've got the taser. They do have like their version of SWAT that is armed with firearms. Like it's not like all London police officers do not carry firearms. Certain ones do. But the majority of your beat cops do not. But they do have other tools available other than pepper spray. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, Kaiba. That's what I'm saying. It's disingenuous. He was saying just the pepper spray when 2 seconds ago we just saw. Hey.
Cheer 100. Don't forget SGT Angel got stabbed in the hand by a man dressed as Father Christmas.
Of course, sadistic. Never forget.
Be a police officer over there, essentially going at the mercy of the wolves.
Captain, could you imagine sending your officers out without a taser, without a firearm of some sort?
I would sooner go out without shoes than I would without the kit like this.
And I guess you feel the same, Sergeant. Yes, it's like putting your shoes on, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I think it's a different environment out there. I think the taser rollout for us will give us a very good, will give us enough useful force in this country. We obviously don't kind of have the same level of gun crime that they do in America, and a lot of our kit is very similar. It's really just the firearm that we are lacking.
Yeah, I believe the mere presence of having a taser.
Though
is
it's rare,
almost
we do
enough.
have gun-related attacks, and that's why every coney has their own armed response units. Also, this video is a bit old at the time the taser had only just started to be rolled out for police.
You mean in the UK, Hackle? Like the in this video in the UK, they'd only just started arming them with the tasers. Yeah, and that first officer said it correct. That first constable said it correctly. It's totally different environments. You cannot make a comparison of one to the other. Honestly, they are two very different environments. The UK and the United States, especially with gun crime, is they're like different worlds. So you can't really make that comparison.
Sometimes, to prevent a subject becoming aggressive or violent towards myself or my colleagues, it's a bright colour. It stands out. People are aware of its capabilities. When I go into jobs without having a taser as an option, subjects may feel that they have an advantage over me to some degree. Whilst I've still got kit, a taser would be a lot more helpful in some situations.
And leave us not forget also, the police in the United States are a fuckload more aggressive than the police in the UK. That is also another factor. There is aggression to the nth degree for U.S. police versus versus the UK police.